All right, it is time to do battle and slay once and for all the demon of overthinking every little stupid minute detail when it comes to diet and exercise. Because the sad fact is, if we try to figure out the legitimacy or the validity of every little thing, then we spend all of our energy and attention trying to do our quote research, and we don't have anything left over to actually apply what we know, take action, which is of course what actually produces the results. No one ever got in shape scrolling through social media, doing endless article searches on PubMed, or watching YouTube videos. So the first attack we can have in slaying the demon of overthinking is to recognize that most of the information we're consuming isn't actually data and information on social media or the internet, it's marketing. It's marketing where someone's trying to sell us on their perspective, their products, their ideas, and I'm certainly doing exactly the same thing. And because it's all based on marketing, there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of doomsday stuff, and there's a lot of superlatives, which means that everything you run into is gonna be the best and the ultimate and the best exercise and the best diet. And meanwhile, everything else is the worst and the worst thing you can do and the worst diet and the worst thing you should never do. But the reality is life doesn't work that way. Very rarely are things ever black and white. If you take any given exercise or dietary approach, chances are it's gonna land somewhere in the gray area, and all of this hyped up doomsday utopian thinking is just marketing mumbo jumbo that really doesn't mean anything. The stuff that's good is probably fairly good, but it's not the best, it's not the greatest, it's not gonna be life-changing, it's just gonna be kind of good. Meanwhile, the stuff that's terrible and horrible and it'll take 5 years off your life and all that kind of, maybe not so bad in moderation. And the second thing we can do to slay the demon of overthinking is trying to make sense of a lot of the debate that's out there. Because one person says deadlifts are awesome and the other person says they're terrible. And again, there's those superlatives. One person says red meat is poison, the other person says it changed their life for the better. And there's all this back and forth debate, and we get caught in the middle trying to figure this stuff out. Generally, when it comes to health and fitness, the stuff that's definitely good or bad is usually pretty self-evident, and most everybody can kind of agree on it. Yeah, I know that's kind of a rare thing these days, but still, if we're running across a lot of debate, it's like red meat is terrible, red meat is awesome and stuff, usually that means it really doesn't matter all that much. What is important is how much you're able to influence the three fundamental processes that govern your actual fitness. You have the process of nutritional support, which is the balance between consumption and expenditure or utilization. You have the process of physical conditioning, stimulus followed by adaptation. And then you have the process of motivation, which is perceived reward to perceived cost or expenditure of our resources that we have to invest in order to get that reward. Those are the three things that are actually in charge of your results, not whether or not you have red meat in your diet or not, or whether or not you're doing deadlifts on every Tuesday, or you prefer some other way to work your extension chain. The ways that you influence those processes are gonna be different for everybody, but it's ultimately how well you can influence them, because you can't control them, but how well you influence them that are ultimately going to determine your success. So do whatever is best for you. Do whatever is easiest for you. If you have this affinity for deadlifts and you feel like it's the best thing for you, then great, go for it. Let your experience be your guide. Don't get lost in all the overthinking of the trivial details, because honestly, most of them aren't really that important, and the ones that are going to either be self-evident or they're going to let you know real fast through your own experience which ones you should be following or should be avoiding. Check out this video here on my fundamental approach to fitness and how fitness actually works, and let me know if you have further questions down below in the comments section. But overall, don't overthink this stuff and you'll be much better off in the long run. Be fit and live free.